bad batch of synthetic marijuana hit the streets.
Just out of it.
Look at the glazed expression on this woman as she gets help from a cop. And here, a guy is sprawled at the feet of a police officer. It was like a scene from the hit TV series The Walking Dead. Cops say more than 30 people were hospitalized after taking the cheap but powerful drug known as K2. It's also known by the street names White Tiger and Dank.
It was a horrific scene. Something out of a zombie movie.
Brian Arthur was so stunned by the zombie scenes, he live-streamed video on his Facebook page.
Look at this. My man can't get up right now. You walk up the block, you see nothing but people laying around, shaking on the ground.
The New York Post calls it Zombieland. The Daily News, Street of Zombies. It's not just a New York phenomenon. There are similar scenes in other American cities. This was St. Petersburg, Florida.
It's just horrendous what's going on out here.
But the sheer number of victims in this new case is front page news.
This is crazy. This is crazy.
It's like a zombie apocalypse in Brooklyn.
They can't even stand straight.
This was the scene after cops say a bad batch of synthetic marijuana hit the streets.
All praises and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai Bahasham Ha Rakah Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders which rule Great Millstone well, and Shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure into the end. Shalom wa abababal. So the so-called white man allows synthetic drugs in his kingdom, which destroys the citizens. Alright, which you just saw that video, and that was K2, which K2 is one name of, it says, for a group of synthetic cannabinoids. These drugs are human-made, mind-altering chemicals. A person can make K2 by spraying synthetic psychoactive chemicals onto dried plant material. In this form, people can smoke the K2 similar to how they might smoke cannabis. Alright, it says K2 also comes in a liquid form that a person can vaporize. A person can inhale vaporized K2 using an e-cigarette or other devices. Okay? It says synthetic cannabinoids are similar to the chemicals in cannabis plants. In some instances, people market these drugs as a safe, legal alternative to cannabis. However, these drugs are often not safe and can affect the brain more powerfully than cannabis. So this is a man-made synthetic drug that they're selling to the public. Okay? And just another form of what they're doing with fentanyl. Alright? Fentanyl, which you hear about fentanyl, which is an opioid, which is a synthetic opioid. It says fentanyl can be used to contaminate food, outdoor air. Fentanyl can be released into outdoor air as fine particles or liquid spray, which you got to remember, they're spraying chemtrails above us all day, every day. Alright, agricultural. If fentanyl is released into the air as fine particles or liquid spray, aerosol, it has a potential to contaminate our agricultural products.
Similar to other opioid analgesics, fentanyl produces effects such as relaxation, euphoria, pain relief, sedation, confusion, drowsiness, dizziness, nausea and vomiting, urinary retention, pupillary constriction, and respiratory depression.
Alright, so these are the effects of fentanyl. Okay?
Listen, check it. If something happened to me, I get some random ass crazy charges or some crazy shit that's happened, it's because of this video right here. However, I feel like I know I'm protected, so it'll be a war before then. But understand this, right? I'm about to expose something to y'all. And I was waiting till I got enough followers to do this. They poisoned us in prison. If you got family members in prison, their attitudes is different. They change and they always asking for money. I'm telling you what I know. They gave us fentanyl. Listen, I was in the mix. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the big homies fuck with me because they felt like I was smart, I was intelligent, I was trustworthy. I was grabbing packs. I was grabbing the sacks from the officers. Consider this. There was no visitation and there was no mail coming in during COVID. But yet the prison system was at an all-time high of drugs and overdose. How? Where we get it from? What happened is this, and I'm going to give you my story. I smoked. However, when we was getting the sheets from the officers because we couldn't get it ourselves, at first we was smoking regular weed, K2, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But then out of nowhere, like my big homies was trying to tell me, they come myself, and cause they used to fuck with me, study, train with me, all that shit. They noticed that I was nodding off when they come myself. And I said, nah, nigga, I'm just meditating. And when they started talking to other big homies on the yard, they all saying the same thing. Yeah, such and such, he was nodding off on security detail. Such and such was nodding off when we had to do the shower duty. Everybody's nodding off. So they get on their cell phones, they call over state. Everybody's nodding off all over state. They asked the officer, and the officer said, told the truth. They said, yes, we sprayed everything with fentanyl as well. That sit everybody down and keep everybody quiet. What they did was, definitely North Carolina, closed custody inmates can only come out 3 hours a day. And that's how they paralyzed us by giving us fentanyl. We didn't know we was smoking fentanyl. Now, of course, after we found out we smoking fentanyl, we want to get off of that shit, of course. But, it's highly addictive. I done went through withdrawals, all types of shit, bro. And if it wasn't for the big homies and there was some of the guards I had around me, bro, the spirits I had around me, I'd be dead. The big homies wanted to push me out here so I can do this. God wanted me to come out here so I can tell everybody what's really going on, bro. It's the prison system that's giving us the drugs. It's the prison system. It's the administration. It's the government that's the reason for the gang wars and everything. They're the ones that's giving it to us. And they gave us fentanyl. Every big homie that had bucked the system and said, we're not selling that shit no more, and start pushing buttons on any other big homie that was selling it, they put him in a hole. J. Poon been in a hole since 2021 when he pushed the button and said, no more selling them sheets of paper. They just took Agnes to the hole before I left prison. I've been home 7 months. Agnes still in the hole with no charge. But they just try to find things.
All right. So as you heard, that when you get fentanyl in your system, it makes you fatigued. And when you look up chronic fatigue in 2023, there's many reports within hours of me just looking this up that people are suffering from chronic fatigue. All right, this is an article from ABC News. It says taxpayer money created legal marijuana used by teens. U.S. government paid scientists to invent spice chemicals. All right, that spice is that K2 spice, the artificial synthetic cannabinoids or cannabids that people were getting sick of in that video, which they're also spraying on your food, all right, in chemtrails. It says in June 6, 2011, the U.S. government might not be scrambling to ban spice, the legal marijuana that's sending teens to emergency rooms across the country if it hadn't helped invent the drug in the first place. Which it actually shows you a picture of the man that invented it. Right there. So it shows you the devil, the so-called white man. All right, and this is why America is known as the mother of harlots. Revelation 17. It says in verse 5, and upon her forehead was the name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And that's the title of America. America is the whore that rides the beast, and it is also going to go into perdition, which is the reward of its evil. Okay? Alright, this is Wikipedia fentanyl. Okay, let me just get that little part there. It says, since 2018, fentanyl and its analogs have been responsible for most drug overdose deaths in the United States, causing over 71,238 deaths in 2021. Because fentanyl is 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine, its primary clinical utility is in pain management for cancer patients and those recovering from painful surgical operations. Alright? So they're saying it has a medical purpose, but I want to show you that it was created by the so-called white man, and the ones that are putting it on the streets for people to get sick is the so-called white man. It says fentanyl was first synthesized by Paul Janssen, which is from Belgium, a so-called white man. Okay? It says in 1959 was approved for medical use in the United States in 1968. Alright? It says as of 2017, fentanyl fentanyl was the most widely used synthetic opioid in medicine. Okay? So it shows you that the so-called white man, the red devil, alright, he takes peace from the earth. He creates abominations to destroy people's lives.
Chronic fatigue syndrome. You might assume that's just what you call someone who's tired all the time. But what if I told you that CFS is also called myalgic encephalomyelitis? I take it a little more seriously, right? Chronic fatigue syndrome is not just characterized by fatigue at rest and post-exertion. People with CFS also experience sleep disturbances, concentration problems and brain fog, anxiety and mood problems, numbness and tingling, GI issues like abdominal pain and bloating, hormone disruptions, joint pain, headaches, and swollen lymph nodes, among other things. Approximately 8 marks.
When you talk about carfentanil and how it makes you feel physically, you will feel drowsiness, you will feel slowed or depressed breathing, disorientation, sedation, pinpoint pupils, clammy skin. And this is where many people come in and out, and they begin to nod, and they're just kind of like nodding like that. And they're coming in and out of consciousness. When you talk about
I've been through it. I'm about to fentanyl withdrawal. I've been through it. I'm about to tell you how it is. The truth. I would usually start getting symptoms about 4 hours after my last dose of fentanyl. I would start yawning, sneezing, nose running. Now about 12 to 16 hours in, I'd be in full-blown withdrawal. And I would be highly depressed. I couldn't eat. I couldn't drink any fluid. Upset stomach, diarrhea, body hurting. Your skin feels like sandpaper, and there's nothing you can do to get over it. There's nothing.
The government decided we would spray our entire grain supply with folic acid, this man-made chemical. We don't call it sprayed with folic acid, we call it fortified or enriched. So if you spin a box of crackers around, you see the words fortified or enriched, that means sprayed with folic acid. Now let's take a child. They're getting ready for school in the morning. They have this gene mutation. You've pumped them full of folic acid-laden foods. Pop-Tarts, white bagels, Cocoa Puffs, cereals. Now you just dumped folic acid into their body. And then by the time they get to school, the teacher's calling and saying, hey, little Johnny can't pay attention. He doesn't concentrate, he doesn't focus, he doesn't finish his assignments, he's not following directions. He's got ADHD. We need to bring in the Ritalin to control this. And the truth is, ADHD is not even an attention deficit disorder at all. It's an attention overload disorder. And then what modern medicine wants to do is give you an amphetamine to speed up, race the central nervous system to match the pace of the mind. Instead of putting just amino acids into the bloodstream that allow the mind to naturally quiet itself. U.S. federal government.
More than half the products tested had detectable levels of glyphosate above 10 parts per billion. 45 out of 86 products contained detectable levels of glyphosate. Ranges were from 12 parts per billion to 1,150 parts per billion. Organic foods are much less likely to have trace amounts of glyphosate. However, it is appearing in low levels in some cases. Whoa, shit.
Alright, so as you can see, the food is very poisoned. Whether it's from the fentanyl, whether it's they're spraying some kind of synthetic, artificial, man-made chemical on it, or the seeds are GMO, or what happened in